welcome to Chicago. Juan and I are here in the Doubletree Hotel, filming in the lobby in advance of the 2014 Chicago Charities tomorrow. Welcome to Chicago, Juan. It was a good day.
It was a great day. We won the 90s, so I'm very happy about that. You played great. You volleyed great, standing up tall.
I got criticized a lot, so imagine if we'd lost, how much I would have gotten criticized. Juan, what do we have today for our viewers?
So we're gonna talk about some potential matches that are gonna happen tomorrow in the main draw for the men. We're gonna discuss a little bit about the semis and the finals, potential semis and final for the women's draw.
Well, not potential semis, but the semifinals.
Yeah, and then we have an interview with Cort Irish, another interview with the French sensation Max LePivert,
greatest French paddle player ever.
the Tony Parker of paddle.
I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
And he's going to also give everybody a tip.
Okay, terrific.
All right? Okay, we're here with Cort Irish from Viking. And so, Cort, what are you doing here? What are you giving away?
I'm actually playing in my first event ever, so I'm pumped about it, excited about it. But in addition to that, we're doing what we always do, which is sponsoring all of our players, putting up signage, putting up windscreens, and just trying to put on a good display.
Cort, Viking's always been very active in the game, but obviously has gotten much more so in the last couple of years. Can you talk to us a little bit about what Viking's looking to get out of it and your involvement in the sport?
Absolutely. So, you know, our big thing is growth of the sport. So whatever we can do to help support the APTA and Chicago and all these markets and growing the sport is what we're focused on doing. You know, myself, I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, and we have no more than 1.5 courts.
I'd like to see that half court, Cort.
Unfortunately. So whatever we can do to help assist in growth of the sport. And so with regards to the APTA partnership that we have, the junior program is a big thing for us. You know, what can we do to help get kids continually excited about being involved in platform tennis?
So,
and that's a big thing for us.
So, how many players are in Omaha?
I'm the number one ranked player in Omaha.
Yeah, that's the best question. Who's the best player in Omaha?
Yeah. Who's the best player in Omaha?
Grand total of 5 players in Omaha. So I'm
That's great.
number one out of all those.
That's really good. That's really good. So I saw you play today in the 90s.
Yep.
So how was that?
Yeah, that was a blast. I had just an amazing opportunity to play. I played with Rob Coster, and it was my first event. So I took a lot of it in, and we got our ass kicked, but it was absolutely awesome. I mean, it was a blast.
That's pretty good to hear that you got your ass kicked. But I actually happened to watch some of your points, and you did get your ass kicked. So that's pretty good to see. Yeah. But any other questions you have?
No, but I'd be remiss if I didn't comment. You know, Cort, on behalf of the players and the APTA, you know, Vikings' involvement in the sport is just tremendous, and I hope you're bringing us to a brand new level. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your support.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good.
Okay, so we're going to kick off today's show, and we're going to talk about the women's draw. The women played through to the semis today. They have the semis tomorrow at 11 and the final scheduled at 1.
Yep.
Juan, tell me a little bit about what happened today and your thoughts on tomorrow.
Well, first I want to say that we couldn't actually do the show last night because my flight got delayed. I actually happened to go to St. Louis, and I had a really long day at the airports.
And you loved the St. Louis airport, didn't you?
Not really. But what I tried to do, we were going to try to actually go through the entire draw, but unfortunately due to time issues, we couldn't cover that. So we're going straight to the semifinals. We have the first semifinal is going to be Vicky Stoklasova and Anna Brasova are playing against Mary Doughton and Chelsea Naslock.
A rematch from last year's national semifinals.
Yes, I think it's going to be a good match, although I think that Vicky and Anna will pull it off. They're playing great this season, and they only lost a few games on their way to they only lost 4 games, I think, so far on their way to the semis.
Yeah, last year in the semis they were pushed to 3 sets in Pittsburgh by Doughton and Naslock, but you never really had the feeling that they were in trouble at any point.
Not really. So I think that's Anna and Vicky are going to pull that off. And then the other semifinals are Cynthia Dardis and Amy Shea are playing against my girl Roxy Enika and Martina Andrejkova.
Roxy Enika, defending mixed national champion.
Yeah, I don't know who she played with, but her partner I don't think was that good. She did everything. Anyways, I think that Roxy and Martina have a good chance. The last time they played against each other, Roxy and Martina won.
Nationals last year,
at the Nationals
quarterfinals.
in the quarters.
Only time they beat them, right?
Only time they've beaten them. I think it's going to be a good match. I think that Roxy and Martina is playing much better. Actually, Martina and Liz Cruz beat Roxy and Kerry Flynn in a league match last Sunday.
The Premier League.
The Premier League. I saw Martina play. She's playing much better. I hope she plays that way tomorrow because if they do, they have a good chance. And of course, they're my favorites. I want them to win. I have nothing against Cynthia and Amy, but I think that they have a good chance, and I hope they win. And they play in the final. Vicky and Anna.
So let's talk about that final. Can anybody beat Vicky and Anna tomorrow?
I don't think that tomorrow they can beat them. I hope they do, but I think that Vicky and Anna are the favorites, and they're going to win the Charities for the second year in a row.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to see anybody beating Vicky and Anna. They're so far and away the best team in the country right now.
Yep. So I think they're going to win tomorrow, and they're going to still prove everybody that they're the best team in the country.
Okay. So that covers the women. Let's talk about the men's draw. Lots of good matchups, and in the interest of time, we're going to jump straight into the 32s. And I got to say, the third round of 32 matchup that jumps off the page at you is Caldwell Cordish versus Goodspeed Bacher. I mean, David Caldwell hasn't played a tournament in, I guess, 2 years. Many considered him the best player in the game in 2009. He missed nationals that year, unfortunately, and hasn't played much since. So talk to me a little bit about that matchup and how you see things transpiring there.
I mean, Goodspeed and Bacher, they're a good team, and
they must be good. They beat us in Cincinnati last year
in the finals of the 90s. I'm actually still looking for revenge from that match.
Hopefully this year.
But I think that Caldwell and Cordish are amazing. I just don't know how much they're playing. So hopefully they will play well, so we have a good match there. If we go just by names, that is supposed to be a great match. I think that Goodspeed and Bacher will probably win that one because they've been playing more.
You know, there were a number of years where Flip was one in the country, and he came to Charities with his partner Scott Menzinger at the time, and he hadn't played any paddle yet. So it'll be interesting to know whether Flip's played at all and how his level is tomorrow.
Anyhow, I think they played more than Caldwell and Cordish.
Okay, so what other 32s do we have?
Well, we have Kaller and Watt against Marino and Schmidtgo.
Yeah, Casey Watt, I guess this is his second year playing paddle. He was a terrific Division I tennis player. I think he went to Notre Dame, not certain. Very talented, opened a lot of eyes last year at President's Cup. Played very well. I think he actually, along with his partner John Ma, they beat, I think, Marco Grangiero and Steve DeRose.
Yes, and we actually, Cochran and I had to play them during the rounds, and it was a good match.
So tell me a little bit about Casey's game.
Well, I actually don't remember much.
So
but
really
I think
impressed you.
we got to a third set, and I mean they play well. He still played like tennis last year, but in one season he could improve. So I don't know if he plays summer paddle, if he's been playing a lot, but he of course has potential.
So obviously we got a good look at Mike Marino's game today. Are you picking him to win or to lose tomorrow?
Well, I think Mike today it was a little different.
Playing against you is always different.
Well, but also he wasn't playing with Dane Schmidtgo, who can play his corner very well. Mike was probably forcing some shots today, even though his partner played very well. So I think that I will still take Marino and Schmidtgo, despite the fact that I heard from many people that are taking Kaller and Watt.
I'm taking Kaller and Watt. Apologies, Mike.
I'm taking Marino and Schmidtgo just because I don't want to be with Fischel on this one.
Okay, so now let's jump to the 16s. You know, one of the 16s just jumps off the page at you. It's Durant Parsons, the number one seed, playing against Alex Benchila and Brian Uline. For many years, Brian Uline was considered to be the best player in the country. You have 8 national championships on the court. None of them belong to a player from Romania. Your thoughts on that match, Juan?
Well, sorry. I mean, I think it's going to be a good match. I just, Johan and Mark, I know hasn't been playing much. He's been teaching a lot, but I know
couple of league matches in the
he
Premier
played a
League.
few league matches. He hasn't been playing much. I never know how much Johan has been playing until this tournament, so I don't know what kind of activity they have in Boston. And I know Alex has been playing a lot, and the league has started here a long time ago, and they play. You told me today that Bondurant is organizing some matches, practice matches every Saturday, and that's
Scott
great to hear.
Bondurant.
That's really great to hear. So I will still pick Durant and Parsons because they're the number one team in the country, and it's hard not to pick them. But I think that Yulan and Alex can give him a little headache. I just would like to see what's going to happen tomorrow.
Well, it should be a fun match. Tune into platformtennis.org. That match will probably be streamed tomorrow after the women's final. Some other 16s. We have the winner of the Goodspeed Bacher Caldwell Cordish match playing, we assume, Bostrom and Bredberg.
Yes.
The Swedes.
Yes.
How do you see that match unfolding?
I think, Goodspeed and Bacher were the team that beat Bostrom and Bredberg in nationals last year.
They played virtually a perfect match. I think they beat them 1-1, 1-2.
So I think in that case, that's not a good matchup for Sebastian and Martin. So I think Goodspeed and Bacher would win that match. Although if Caldwell Cordish happened to beat Goodspeed and Bacher against Martin and Sebastian, it's a different matchup because that Sebastian and Martin actually like that kind of game, the fast-paced game. So in that case, I will actually pick Sebastian and Martin over Caldwell Cordish.
Okay, next slot in the draw is Lubau DeRose versus Baxter and Heath. Again, another pair of teams that like to play fast. Who's going to benefit from the fast style of that match?
Well, I love this team of Lubau DeRose, but I think they haven't been playing great this season, and they don't match up well against good tennis players. So as much as I would like Lubau DeRose to win that match, I think that Baxter and Heath have a chance this time.
Hard to pick them, though. They clearly
hard to pick them, but they were a team that took. The only team that took to 3 sets, Durant and Parsons in the Nationals in Pittsburgh.
That match was a little dicey, and they definitely pushed them there.
So I think they're a good team, and they can beat Lubau DeRose tomorrow.
Okay, final 16 that we got to talk about. Your match, playing with a new partner, the French sensation who we mentioned earlier,
Tony Parker of paddle.
Tony Parker of paddle, playing against Marco Grangero and George Wilkinson, 2 non-English speaking players. Tell me about that match.
So I think Max and I have a good chance. I mean, I would hate to pick me as a favorite and my partner.
You played him earlier in the year.
We did play them early. We did play well against them. I think we match up well against them. And for some reason, whenever we played them in a tournament, I played against them in nationals last year, and I play well. This year I play well against them. So I think we have a chance there. It just depends how my partner wakes up and he's willing to listen to me on the court and not get too upset when I start rolling my eyes.
Okay, well, I'm hoping that since George doesn't speak English, he won't hear the show, but I'm going to have to pick you guys to win that match.
Okay.
Okay, so there are a couple other good 16s. I think we're going to pass on the Noble Raleigh match versus Broderick Gambino. I mean, they lost us today, so how good could they be? They really can't have much of a shot in that match. Okay, so moving on to the quarters. At the top of the draw, we have Broderick Gambino playing against Cosumano LePivert. Obviously, you've got a bunch of 3 Jersey guys there, actually 4 if you count Nathan. Tell me how you see that match is how those teams match up together.
Well, I think that Broderick Gambino are favorites there because Nathan has been all the way on the West Coast. But his style kind of match up well against that team. I think that just because Drew has been playing great this season, I will have to pick them. But I wouldn't surprise me if Nathan and Anthony happen to win that match. I still will pick Drew and Gambino to win that match.
Okay, next quarter a little complicated because there's so many teams.
Yeah.
We have the Lubau DeRose section and the Bostrom Bredberg section. Who do you want to predict is going to be in that quarter, and talk to me about it unfolding?
Well, it's all matchups.
So Bostrom Bredberg beat Lubau DeRose in the 16s at Nationals last year.
Yeah, so I think if they make it through, they can win against Lubau DeRose. Of course, if Lubau DeRose beat Baxter and Heath first, I think that Lubau DeRose will find a way and make it through somehow. But then if they play Sebastian and Martin, I think Sebastian and Martin has a chance. Once again, based on how they're playing this season, I will pick Sebastian and Martin again to win against them. actually happened to say this to you at the early in the season, and I thought those teams were going to play against each other and they were going to have really competitive matches.
And Patterson.
Yeah,
They were scheduled to play.
So I think that's going to be a challenging match. If they play Cowell and Cordish, I also think they would be in trouble.
Okay, I know you don't equivocate at all. So who's coming out of that bracket to be in the semis?
It all depends on matches. It depends who gets to the quarters. I think that if Goodspeed and Bakker get to the quarters, they will beat Lubau and the Rose.
But if Lubau DeRose play Boston Redberg, you like Lubau DeRose?
No, I like Boston.
Okay, so you like the winner of the Boston Redberg match with Goodspeed Bakker to make the semis?
Yes, although if Caldwell Cordish make it to the quarters, I like Lubau the Rose.
Okay.
It's complicated, but
hopefully you
it's
could
a tough
follow that.
section. It's a really tough section.
Okay, so let's skip to the bottom half of the draw. Durant Parsons versus McKnight and Rose. 2 years ago, Charities, McKnight Rose gave them all they could handle. I think they actually served for the match in the third set, at 5-4 in the third.
Yes.
Mark Parsons came up with a ridiculous volley at like 30-15.
Yes.
Do you give McKnight Rose much of a chance tomorrow?
I haven't seen them play this year. The only person I saw play of that foursome is Mark. I played against him in an exhibition last week. I think that, again, I have to pick Durant and Parsons.
Yeah, I mean, Pete and Ben are terrific athletes. They volley really well. They don't generate a lot of offense at the net, and I think that's their undoing when they get to the top levels of the game.
That could be the difference there. Yep.
Okay, final quarter. Cochran Estes versus what I predicted is you and that French guy. Can you talk to me about that and previous matchups you've had with Mike Cochran and Scott Estes? Because I know you played him a number of times.
I lost a lot of times to them. Last year, I beat them once with Lennart at Atlantic Classic and in the quarterfinals. And then I actually lost to them in the semis of Midwestern playing with Alex in the third set battle. And then I lost to them 2 other times with Alex, 6-1, 6-1. I mean, they killed us. They happened to play great. But our best win, or my best win against Cochran Estes was with Alex, actually, at the final of Charities 4 years ago that we won. But they're a great team. I don't like to play them much, even though they're great guys. But I know that Max likes to play them. He had good success against them.
1 and 2 last year.
Yes.
Beat him at Sound Shore. Lost to him the 2 other times he played him, including the 16s and Nationals.
So I take that. I think I like to win, but I can't pick us as favorites.
Well, being the co-host and my partner who carried me to victory day in the 90s, I'm picking you guys to win that match too.
Well, okay, thanks. But I would say it's 50-50. I just have to see if I can play well enough to keep up with Mike's drives and all the craziness that he tries on the court. And Scott is very steady. He plays very smart. At least one of the players in that team is smart. And on our side, one of the players is smart too. That would be Max. I mean, I try
a smart French player.
Yeah, it's hard to find one of those, but I think there is going to be one tomorrow playing.
Okay, so top half of the draw semifinals, I think we both agree Broderick and Gambino are coming out, and they'll be playing somebody.
Yes.
Can any of those teams beat Broderick Gambino tomorrow?
Lubau the Rose can beat them.
I agree. I think Lubau de Rose have the best chance of any of those teams to beat them. Not sure I see anybody else beating them.
Agree.
Okay, so we have either Lubau de Rose or Broderick Gambino in the finals, leaning towards Broderick Gambino.
Yes.
Okay, bottom half of the draw. Assuming you guys make it through, I guess we could talk about either you guys or Cochran Estes.
Yeah.
Either one is a fascinating matchup with the 2-time defending national champs, Durant Parsons.
Yeah.
So why don't you break down those matchups for me?
Well, if Cochran Estes beat us, which I hope they don't, I think they have a good chance of beating Durant and Parsons. I mean, they had good success last year. They played 2 times. They won 1. They lost 1. So they have a good chance. But I will still pick Mark and Johan. I mean, it's hard not to pick them. I mean,
they've lost 1 match as a team in the 2 years they played together.
So it's hard not to pick them. If we win, I haven't had great success against them. So I would hate to say this. I have to pick them too. However, I'm going to try my hardest, and hopefully I can come up with the same line that Vita Shigeru like to say, nobody beats Juan like 27 times in a row.
That is one of the great lines in tennis history.
So, I want to see, because one thing that is very different from Max than Lennart is Max is much faster. He can track down a lot of balls, and he also moves better than Alex. So I hope that changed a little bit the dynamics on our team, and we can give him a little better chance. But first, we hope we can make it there.
Yeah, I know Max has had some success against him in the past. Took a set off him in Boston,
Yeah.
and it was very comfortable playing against him. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
So
I also know that Max got a ride from the airport with Johan, so I think he was doing some scouting.
yeah, I think he was actually putting something on the drink.
Oh, that will help you guys a lot.
That would.
Okay, so now the big question. Can anybody beat Durant Parsons? Because
Yes.
in the finals we have them matched up with either, as we're picking them, with either Lubao DeRose or Broderick Gambino. Both teams they've had their way with in the past.
I think that if they make it to the finals, which they're big favorites, they will win. But can somebody beat them? Yes. I mean, there is always a chance out there. But they're still favorites. So if I have to pick one person today, before the tournament is played, before even the first ball is hit, I will pick them. But
I think the match they are most vulnerable is the quarterfinal match. Johan's had some problems seeing the ball tonight. I don't think he saw the ball real well at Nationals last year in the quarters. And I think if they lose this weekend, they lose in the quarters.
Okay.
Okay, so that's a wrap on the preview for the men. We're going to be back with a tip from the French sensation, Max LePivert. Back with Max LePivert, the French sensation. And Max has got a little tip for us with regard to the league player.
Yeah, the tip I want to share with all the league players today is the non-offensive reset overhead, which is a defensive shot that's meant to keep the ball in play and keep the opponent in the backcourt in a neutral position to lob the ball back in play. I find a lot of players that I teach tend to slap the overhead and tend to play a little too hard, a little too aggressively. I tend to preach letting the ball drop a little bit more and hitting the overhead more like a volley to lower the trajectory and to push the player back into a deep position on the court.
And at what point do you suggest that the league players employ the reset overhead?
Just, I mean, for the most part, anytime you're being pushed out of the service box into a deeper position on the court, where you no longer have access to the screens. I favor resetting the ball more down the middle of the court or add the players deep on the low trajectory shot, which makes it hard for them to hit any offensive shots back.
Okay, well, Max, thank you for joining us on the show, and I hope you survive playing with Juan tomorrow.
I'm trying.
Okay, so I'm here with the French sensation, the AKA the Tony Parker of platform tennis, Max LePivert. And he's going to be my partner tomorrow in the Chicago Charities. So, Max, how are you getting ready for tomorrow?
Just a nice big steak dinner. That's just the way to go, and get a lot of sleep, hopefully, and have a good day tomorrow.
You know that you're sharing the room with me. I don't know if you're going to get a good night of sleep.
Do you snore?
No, but I do other noises.
That's going to be fun. I got to say, I'm looking forward to that.
So, tell me a little bit, what are you expecting from us tomorrow? Be honest.
Expecting a lot of good things. I think you and I would be an interesting team together. There's a lot of good things on our team. A lot of it is speed. You got a lot of good overheads. I think we can do a lot of damage.
Do you think that, do you see us winning the tournament?
I think we can certainly do it, no question.
Why are you smiling?
Just a happy guy.
Max, you're going to play the deuce tomorrow.
Yes.
Have you been playing a lot on the deuce? Do you like playing the deuce better than playing the ad? Because in the past, I know you play the ad.
It's a completely different side. I'm used to it now. I've been playing it with Corey Parr, who's been my partner for the most part of the season, and it's a different side. I had to learn to be more of a setup person instead of looking for so much offense. So I think it's made me a better player because it's forced me to be more patient.
Yeah, but I mean, being patient doesn't mean that you cannot be aggressive. I mean, I know you have a great forehand. I play with you at the Padel Player Open. I know you created a lot of offense. You had great returns. So I think that you became a better overall player. That said, do you think you changed your style of play because you moved to the deuce? Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I think my game has always been based on speed, but it's a different visual on that side. I'm looking to set up different shots, and I'm looking to set up my partner a little bit more than setting myself up. Those are the main things that I felt like on the outside I could set up a lot more of my own offense. On the deuce, I feel like I need to set it up more for my partner and pick a couple looks that I really love for myself. And in that sense, it's made me just a lot more patient.
So, because you were an ad-core player before, and you were a great ad-core player before.
I don't know about that. But.
Yeah, you were a great ad-core player. I am known for being the ad-core player. I cannot play the deuce to save my life. I stink on that side. What would you say I would need to do better to be able to play the other side? Because eventually I might need to move over if I am not doing my job on the outside. So what do you think? What would be a good tip for you to tell me that I need to improve to get to the other side?
Well, I just think on the deuce side, there's only one or two good visual shots, that set up a lot of offense. And my advice to you, and not that I should give you much advice, but my advice would be that you would just learn to set up one or two particular looks for yourself and trust those looks, and everything else is a setup shot for your partner.
Well, thank you, Max. I hope you do all of this tomorrow, and you play great tomorrow. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of eye rolls from me. You know that.
I've been training for the eye roll.
That's pretty good.
I'm ready.
But I'm looking forward to a great event and maybe many more in the future.
I certainly hope
so. It just depends how you play tomorrow.
That's good. I like that.
So we're here in Chicago. We asked two people already what platform tennis is, and they don't know. So we're going to keep trying to find somebody that knows what it is. May I ask you a quick question? Do you know what platform tennis is?
No.
No? Thank you. Excuse me, sir. May I ask you a quick question? Do you know what platform tennis is?
What?
Platform tennis.
No.
No? All right, thank you. I love it. Mark, no, keep filming, keep filming. So Mark, come over. Excuse me, may I ask you a quick question? No, please. Okay. Sir, may I ask you a quick question? Do you know what platform tennis is? No? All right, no problem. Thank you. He doesn't know either. We're in Chicago. What many people think is the mecca of platform tennis. Nobody knows what it is. Quick question. Do you know what platform tennis is?
No, why are we recording?
No, I'm just doing a quick
You're
thing.
serving some guests though?
No, I'm not. I'm a guest.
I understand, but guests don't feel comfortable.
So we're here in Chicago at the DoubleTree. We asked 7 different guests if they know what platform tennis is, and they have no idea. In the heart of platform tennis in Chicago, 7 people don't know what it is. That's kind of surprising. I don't think that would happen in Connecticut.